Hey guys, so today we are going to try and answer the question, is church hopping healthy? But first, what is church hopping?
Church hopping is basically when you hop from church to church. You have no long term commitment in one congregation. You treat church like you would treat a fast food restaurant, right?
Yeah.
You don't like a fast food restaurant, you move on to another one.
Yeah. And in our walk with Christ, there are four things that are particularly important: commitment, community, accountability, and growth. And if we church hop, none of these four things can actually be applied, right?
No, not at all. That's starting off with accountability, right? When we look at the Bible, yes, we're called to be accountable to God, but also we need to be accountable to our brothers and sisters in the Lord. Peter was held accountable by Paul in Galatians 2. And also we see how in James it says, confess your faults to one another and pray for one another, right? That shows community, accountability, sorry. And so when we look at commitment in scripture, we see how the early church was committed to one another, right? The apostles were committed to being the foundation of the church. Philip and Stephen were committed to being caretakers of the church. And so we need to be committed to what God calls us to. And that leads to the next point, growth, right? We are all members of one body, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us are called to serve, some of us are called to preach. And so how can you grow in your calling as a deacon per se if you are not committed in one church for a long period of time? How can a pastor be able to shepherd sheep who are just going from church to church? It's just not good at all. And so community, right? When we look at the New Testament, it's written to churches that knew each other. Paul telling the Romans at the end of Romans to greet Priscilla and Aquila. He's telling them because they knew who these people were. So when you're going from church to church, your relationships with people are superficial. Like that's not a New Testament standard. And so I want to look at Ephesians chapter 4, verses 4 to 6. There is one body and one spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to your call. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all.
Yes. Right? And yeah, there you have it. Unity, right?
Yes,
unity. And if we church hop, unity is not really there.
Not at all.
Anyway, so I hope you guys learned something. I hope that we kind of answered the question. Mm-hmm. If you have something to attribute, please comment. And if you're watching us on TikTok, please give us a follow. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. And we will see you in the next video. Ciao.